here. And just seeing if they can take the routes, if they can get where they need to go, they're going to do great on this map. I think that's typically what we see with the sub players. It's just when usually your AR presence isn't as good that they're gonna struggle, as we see kind of CJ there die right off rip from the side of Seattle. But so far, time going to be going to the side of Seattle's. Toronto's going to be kind of fighting there from that stair side, but Seattle honestly starting off, I think, on the better side, kind of off ripping off the stairs to contest with. Charles with a great 3-piece there on P1 to kind of secure the time on the side of Toronto Falters.
Yeah, that's a big couple kills there coming down from Charles, and the other side of Toronto going to break into that hill early and start soaking up some of this time. And while the Grandma side may be preferred, neither side is bad for starting on P1 because each has equal opportunity to get the time here. And it is pretty easy to flip the spawns to your favor in P2. And really, you don't even necessarily want to spawn in the back of P2. A lot of teams will prefer to fight through the P3 side and keep the top control for that rotation over there as well. So we're going to see Seattle Sloths here first on the rotation. Pretty evened up here in points, and Toronto's going to be looking to make their way through the top mid of the map to break this hill. But ultimately, the gunfights go to the side of the Seattle Sloths. Evan with a nice 2-piece there. He's looking to get more towards this mid gun. He's going to find marks there as well. So Seattle, you're going to have a lot of map control here. You've got 2 players soaking up this hill time as well. You're feeling pretty good about your start here on P2.
Doing a good job so far. Map's still pretty close. We got about half a minute here left on P2, kind of as we still continue to have a fight towards the side of Seattle Sloths, kind of spawning on that bad side. We do see one player trying to get that flip. I believe they are spawning good side now towards that P3. So Toronto Falters are going to have to push out of this backside and get some spawns. Right as I say that, maybe a cast occurs, we're going to see kind of a flip on the map as well. So Toronto Falters are going to be spawning towards new. They're going to be a little bit set up here, but we do have number 4 there in CJ kind of already in here in the mix. He's going to win one fight towards armor, escape towards spiral, and just kind of try to play his life, wait for his teammates to get here. As we see a little bit of a red card there on protocol. Unfortunately, nobody there, so they're not going to see it unless they rewatch the stream and then clip it, send it to Jim's ticket. You might get that guy FF. I mean, you never know. But so far, Toronto Falters doing a fairly good job holding this time here, as they are spawning the Seattle Sloths out, so they really just got to focus on holding that.
Yeah, they got to focus on holding here. Seattle's looking to make their break through the back and through the front. They're trying to split. DJ's going to slide in. He's not through. The player behind the door. He's going to get taken out. Dragon's there coming in from the front. But all the gunfights go to the side of Toronto. They're having a really solid hold here on the P3. But as we're ticking down to this 25-second mark, we're going to see which one of these teams decides to rotate towards that P4 first. And it's potentially going to be Toronto here getting all the kills early and making their way down. It's going to be Marks here on the rotation. He's going to have a gunfight here against CJ. Going to lose it, but 2 of his teammates are coming in to support as well. But there's going to be 3 from the side of Seattle coming in, and the gunfight should go their way. Evan with a nice 2-piece. That's Ivan, no E. And they're going to start off early here on this P4, and it's going to be a little bit tough to break this P4 sometimes from the side of Toronto. So you got to group up here as a team, get some engagements, and win some good gunfights and play your trades if you're looking to break into this P4 early.
And so far, Seattle Sloths have a good setup. Toronto going to win kind of the first 2 gunfights as we get into here. Not going to win the next 2, but Ducky is able to win 1. Our setup towards this elevator side, so they're going to be looking kind of 2 points of entry here in this time. So it should be pretty easy for the side of Toronto Falters. Just keep your iron up. You should have the rest of the stills. We see kind of some contests coming down here. Seattle Sloths kind of back and forth here, able to win that gunfight. They should take the rest of this time here. I don't imagine that anybody will seriously challenge us here for the last 20 seconds. And that's going to even this game right back up in rotation 2. You know, game number 1 of the night. You're on stream. Most people are just coming up a warm up, maybe not even a scrim. So, you know, that first rotation is kind of where you get all those jitters out, and you're ready to play COD now. At this point, it's going to be a 10-point lead towards the side of Toronto Falters. They are kind of on the unfortunate side, but they do have control of the hill here for a second. So we'll kind of see how Toronto gets this as they start to fix players on spawn.
Yeah, Toronto doing a good job early here. We're going to see those spawns will flip towards the side of Seattle, but Charles is keeping that pressure up, and he's able to get one outside of Grandma. He's going to get traded out by Joker there. But ultimately, through the first rotation, you know, Toronto with a slight lead, but we're seeing a lot of kills come down from both these 2 teams. So it's pretty close back and forth here. I'm going to be curious to see maybe if one of these two teams changes up a strategy and then ultimately starts to break out an advantage here. But as we're looking kind of at this P1, we've just seen a back and forth with Toronto early on in the time. Seattle able to break in and secure a good chunk of that scrap time, and they're keeping the Toronto's players spawning towards that blue side. So they're looking to trap them back there. But as soon as I say that, hill time comes through, and it's potential that the spawns are going to flip over here, and we're going to see some mixiness come down in the back of Grandma Sports Tower.
We should just probably stop talking about spawns, because every time we mention it's going to flip to the other team. Seattle Sloths are able to get 3 dead here on time. Last player to be ducky towards this little hut side is going to pick up one. Not able to pick up another one, so he's going to continue to spawn his team back here. Seattle Sloths do have someone control top windows, so it's going to be difficult for them to flip out. So for the side of Seattle Sloths, you really just got to protect the front and then kind of use those layers you built towards mid-map to keep control of this hill, and that's exactly what they're doing. They eventually take that this lead here. Going to be an awkward gunfight here on time. And, you know, right as we start talking about that, we do see a flip happen there with Toronto able to get 4 kills in a row, make that 5 kills, make that 6 kills in a row for them. So they're doing pretty good here. Able to get this, you know, the last couple seconds here and the rotation. This can be big if they can hold kind of this middle map presence.
Yeah, this middle map presence is going to be huge, but Ivan's making the play for his team. He's looking to flank early, and Joker's going on the top as well. Joker with a nice slide and a 2-piece there to clean off those players' top rope. He's going to have another gunfight here close. He's going to get his gun ready, and he's going to win that as well. So huge kills from Joker there on the Seattle Sloth side. Able to secure his team over that rotation, but we're seeing more big gunfights go down, and we're seeing this kind of back and forth with Toronto spawning in the back now. So while you were able to get those kills, you didn't have any players hard blocking the back, so it allowed Toronto to spawn in the back, and they're going to have an easier time contesting this hill. But good news is, if you've got Ivan popping 3 pieces every single life, it's going to be hard to break into these hills. So good hold so far by the side of Seattle. With 25 seconds left here, these two teams are going to be looking to potentially attack this hill one more time and then make their rotations over down towards the bottom of P4 towards computer. But Seattle's going to be first.
And for Toronto, that last, you know, the 10-second lead that you were going to get if Ivan didn't have something to say about it was going to be pretty substantial, because you're not here rotated to P4. And Seattle Sloths are in full control. They just got a full wipe of the team. They know where they're coming from. Skittle's able to pick up the first one. Joker able to pick up a second here. So we kind of have a back and forth trading fight on this hill. Unfortunately for the side of Toronto, they're not able to break through or get anything done. Able to pick up a couple kills, but the reinforcements for the side of Seattle are just too strong for them. And so far, Seattle can really build themselves a decent lead here. If they continue to hold this hill, they're going to break well over that 200 mark and make that P1 kind of difficult. They've held a lot of P1 time, kind of this second rotation, so this could be pretty dangerous here. They could call game right here on P1.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to rapidly approach this 200 mark here, and Joker's been having his way downstairs in the computers, and Seattle is looking really phenomenal on P4 through both these two rotations so far, and we just see the kill feed just light up teal over and over and over again, and it's going to go your way if you guys are pushing your aggression with the sub and winning those gunfights. So big second rotation from the side of Seattle. We saw them turn up quite a bit through the middle there, through that P2, P3, and P4 split. But ultimately, the map's not over yet. Toronto's going to be here into the hill first, looking to make a little bit of a dent in this deficit that they've built up here. And there's going to be Dragon up here top G's. He's going to be the player that they got to get out. And Skittles does a nice job to clear that player out of the top so they can keep those spawns towards Grandma's. And he's looking to support his players as well from the top up here. Gunfight goes to the side of the Dragon there. But ultimately, you've done a really good job holding the first 30 seconds of this hill, soaking up, getting that time back in your favor.
Toronto just doing a good job, like you mentioned. P1 so far, really just trying to keep it mixy. They've been in control a little more than really kind of I expected them here on this last rotation. So far, I mean, you don't want them to get this last kind of 15 or so. It looks like that may be the case. There's 2 players on. Charles is going to be kind of the last person to contest here. Does have a teammate with him. Unfortunately, one is going to fall kind of in last contest here. Seattle Sloths are going to take the last half second of that hill before I said anything. This is still a 40-point game here heading into P2. Seattle currently in control. We do see 2 players from Toronto able to collapse on hill. They are spawning them out. So this could be beneficial here for the side of Toronto Falters. They are not going to win here, but Seattle Sloths still can. We see Skittles trying to take some gunfights towards mid just to slow him down. Unfortunately, not able to do anything. One player is going to die towards water block. Joker able to pick up a kill towards side tower, and that's going to be all dead from the side of Toronto Falters. Seattle Sloths in control. They need 20 to win. All you pretty much got to do is iron at mid map and make sure players go across the tower.
Yeah, they've done a decent job of these some trades going back and forth now. Skittles able to get some nice kills there. They're not looking for Dragon in the back though, so he's putting some shots back into these players, but not able to pick up any of those kills. And now, Toronto, with your solid break there, you're gonna get a big chunk of scrap time here. But Seattle's looking to kind of make their presence known, make their way through mid-map. But Marks, much like Ivan on the last time, is going to be the player on the wrap. He's able to find one. He's looking for more players. Another fight going down P1. He's able to get two. Nice big wins there. He's going to die from time, though. So there's going to be two players here from Seattle early. Mark's plays are going to allow the team to spawn in the back, but Chaos Dragon's going to read that, and he's going to end up getting that first kill. That's coming in from the ammo side, able to get one. His teammates are there to help, but unfortunately, all the players are going to go down there. There's going to be one player left here close to contest. Charles is going to slide in, going to get some gunfire shots. Nothing going to happen. Marks as well. But from the side of Toronto, you're just flooding in here now, so that's going to be map win to the side of Seattle Sloths, and you give up that remaining time on P2 knowing that you have a lead, and then you just play your P3 really well like you did on the first rotation. So good map there from the side of Seattle Sloths, and a close one at that, only a 23-point win. So Toronto did a good job to fight back after the end of that second rotation and into this third rotation of hills.
I talked about it before the game with the submachine gun players. Ivan from the side of Seattle Sloths was running the sub this map number 2 between Seattle Sloths and Toronto Falters. Seattle are up 1-0 if you are just joining us here. It was fairly close. Hard point, I think it was 250 to 210, 220 or something on map number 1 at Protocol. Yeah, that one. We do see Toronto Falters here doing a great job defending so far. It's going to be 3 dead. Inside of the A side here, Dragon going to be left alone towards this P2. We'll see if he can do anything.
Yeah, I thought Search and Destroy was supposed to last a little while. Teams were supposed to play some one-on-one gunfights, play some lives, but apparently Seattle just dove straight into the water, and they all drowned down there in the A-bomb site. So unfortunate for them, but Dragon's able to pick off one player, make this into a 1v2 scenario here. He does not have the bomb, so he's going to have to retake into this site, look for a gunfight on one of these two players, secure that bomb, and potentially go for the plant. But with how they're playing together here, he's going to have to win both these gunfights relatively. So he's going to get some good timing on Marks there, able to get some shots down, not able to finish off the kill. He's getting flanked from Spiral now. Marks is able to get lost there, sliding around in the computers, able to win that gunfight, and that's going to give his team the 1-0 advantage.
Toronto just did a good job. I mean, they got those 3 initial kills. They did give up one fight, but really just playing the time there for them. Marks and Skittles were playing a little bit separate there. Dragon had a good chance to maybe clutch that 1v3 there if he was able to pick up Marks their backside, but not able to pick up anything there towards the end of the round. So there's going to be a round towards the side of Toronto Falters. It'll be interesting to see what they do, if they try to bang out A or if they start taking this towards B.
Yeah, they are looking to take a B route here. So we see Ducky with the bomb making his way towards B1. We see Charles playing his position over towards that mid-gun area. Dragon's able to get a nice first blood. And it looks like Seattle is looking to go kind of on the counterattack here. Charles has made his way into P3, but Ivan and CJ have now made the flank as well, so they're going to find Skittles left alone up top Grandma's. Joker's over towards Heli. He's able to sniff out that player on bomb, and now Charles is going to be left here in a 1v3 with the Seattle players close. He's able to win that first gunfight. He's able to kind of get the bomb and sneak back out, but number 3, Ivan, is hunting him down. He's right on his tracks. He's going to be able to get this kill and secure that round for the side of the Sloths. So good defensive showing here so far from both these two teams on the Protocol Search.
And Toronto just kind of played that a little bit differently than the side of Seattle did on the offense, so it'll be interesting to see as they both, I assume, are going to make some different changes going into the next round. You obviously don't want to repeat the same exact thing that you did the first round if it was super unsuccessful. And, both teams were left in a 1v3, so no trades really to be had on the map. So we'll kind of see if that develops anything or we'll see any differences kind of further into the series on this one. But so far, Seattle looks like they're going to be going towards A again. We see Dragon playing towards this P2. He is going to have a fight towards mid gun, take a couple shots. He's not going to notice the guy who's deep right, so he may kind of have a free kill there. Ivan is going to be getting bombed down. They are down a player. Ducky's able to pick up Dragon towards P2. That's going to be a 2v4 for the side of Seattle Sloths, CJ and Ivan. Both running a sub, both kind of just sitting backside. So this is definitely where you would want to be in a 2v4.
Yeah, it's one of the best spots to be in a 2v4, having your players being able to kind of hold the process here together, but it's ultimately going to come down to the win fights. Charles is going to slide out first, going to bait for Skittles there, able to pick off both of those players, making his flank through elevator shaft. So good plays from there from the side of Toronto. They send a player big door, one through spiral, one through elevator, but 2 people left in the site. It's hard to cover all those angles, and timing ultimately goes their way, and they're able to secure that as well. So defense stands strong here on the protocol search and destroy, and we're going to kind of probably have to see which one of these 2 teams is able to win the first attacking round. You have to like the odds of either team that does that first in this map, but ultimately it can then kind of flip-flop a lot of times. It can go straight to just the attacking teams going back and forth. So protocol, always a fun back and forth here. We're going to kind of see where Toronto's deciding to take this bomb and make their way here on round number 4.
And, less about the gameplay, but what I do appreciate about this Toronto Falters team? We got 4 players running Ultra skins there in game. And as a person who only wears Ultra merch, in real life, I appreciate the coordination we have in the wardrobery of this Toronto Falters team tonight.
It couldn't be our team. No, we got a mixed bag. We got us running around with the ultra skins, but those other guys on our team, they're messing around with those other bad CDL. But ultimately, we see Charles here kind of trying to play his life, do his best up here. He's done what he can from his top position. He hasn't been able to kill this player top grandmas. CJ is going to chow him, get some shots down. But ultimately, I think they know that the bomb is down, and they're kind of just looking for info. But unfortunately, CJ is going to give up his life, and now it's going to be Joker and Charles in a 1v1 here. Joker is going to see him run, able to get the timing there, watching that player go down the zip, and able to win that round first team on defense. So that was a really interesting round. We saw kind of all of Charles' teammates go down around him, and then ultimately it was just left to him after he made that flank through P3, able to kind of single out some of those players in those one-on-one gunfights. And he did a good job trying to make that round happen for his team, being alone. But it's always hard when you're in 1v3. You always just have to get that last player. And unfortunately for him, Joker was ready and waiting for him and able to get the timing there to watch him jump and ultimately shoot him in the back for the win.
It was great trigger discipline there. Could have made a really bad decision there and kind of shot him on the zip or shot him when he was top rope, but really just able to use the lack of using his finger to shoot that gun, if you understand what I'm saying here. And Ivan is just getting super aggro through mid-map. They're able to pick up 2 towards that spiral. We're going to get back to bomb with his teammates as they did get that bomb down to Ducky. Going to be left here in a 1v4. And I feel like every single round of this search is going to come down to a 1v3 or 1v4 because that's all we've seen so far, and we're 5 in.
Yeah, I mean, we're 5 rounds in. We did just see our first offensive wins, so maybe that'll mean something for this map, but it definitely feels like there's a lot of 1v3s and 1v4s coming down here so far on this map. And I think we have to think back to what we said before this map started. A lot of solo plays. Neither one of these teams is, playing their trades super close together. We're seeing, Ivan pop 2 and 3 pieces again. We're seeing Charles on the other side doing it as well. So it's been a very back and forth map here. Seattle feels good getting that first defensive round on the board, or the first offensive round on the board, and they're looking to kind of make their way through the middle of the map here with Ivan getting active in middle again. CJ's there to help him out as well. And then this is ultimately, from the side of Toronto, you've got all 3 players here in this site, but you have to watch all these different lanes and angles, and it's going to come down to some key 1v1 gunfights here if Seattle's hitting this bottom side altogether.
Yeah, and Ivan does a perfect read there front left on that player. Charles is going to be left alone here towards elevator side. Unfortunately, only able to pick up 1. Kind of a too tall of a task at hand to be able to clutch a 1v4 with a single clip of a jackal there. Seattle Sloths able to go 4-2, itching their way closer to this match point on this protocol hard point. We haven't seen anything go B yet. We've really just seen kind of some standard A hits, so it'll be interesting to see if any teams decide to make an adjustment here. Seattle are up, they do kind of have a round to play with, as you'd say, and so we'll kind of see if they choose to do anything different, or if they're just going to continue to go A. If you're the side of Toronto Falters, you got to win this round. You definitely don't want to be going down 5-2, even though it's the 5-2 curse. So maybe you do want to lose this round.
I don't think you ever want to lose a round and rely on a curse to be in your favor, and especially being here on the defensive side. I think you're looking at this round over here, and they're making their way through the middle of the map. That's going to be 2 early kills in their favor. Joker's going to slide out of the elevator, able to get 1, but we see the trade immediately come down by marks, and it's going to be left up to Dragon here in P1. He's going to get taken out, and Toronto, really solid defensive round there. I think they kind of did a good read there on that middle push, and the aggression from Seattle down mid finally gets picked up, and then ultimately round goes in your favor. So on the board, you're now down only 1 round, looking to make it maybe a string here on the offensive side and get this map evened up 4-4.
I'm just letting it breathe. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I mean, Toronto Falters, they're taking your advice. Maybe a little bit more studious to take your advice than mine and losing a round, but I still think they could have done some success. Ivan and CJ are just going to run through mid absolutely once again. Not lose a single gunfight. Dragon able to pick up that one. We see Ducky here left in 1v4, and he is absolutely surrounded by players. Not going to be able to do anything with that. Seattle going to be up 5-3. This is going to be game point here in map number 2. So we'll kind of see what happens here. Is Toronto's had some successful defenses, and Seattle has their kind of real success has been kind of around CJ and Ivan just being able to really just run wherever they want, and they really haven't lost any gunfights when they do it. So if you could stop them, making sure they don't have mid-map control or making sure they don't get down the bottom computers, and I think you'll be successful here, and you can kind of swing 3 in a row for the set of Toronto.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if Seattle decides to hit the middle of the map again, or if they're going straight front towards that A site. Looks like they are hitting A, so CJ and Ivan, of course, here together, looking to take aggression early, and Seattle just does such a great job of gaining the map presence when it's there for them. They just completely 3-swarm into computers. There's no immediate gunfights coming down from the side of Toronto, so we're going to have a 4v4 retake here. Charles is the player that's close here on Spiral. Marks is able to see 1 player big door, able to get some shots down, not able to clear anybody off. So you've got 30 seconds left. You're on the timer if you're the side of Toronto, and you're looking for your opening. We see a 1v1 trade coming down. Ducky's making his way into elevator. We see another big kill going down. Last player Spiral, and that's going to be round to Toronto. So really great retake there. I think a lot of that comes off the side of Charles, able to play the timing there on Spiral and ultimately take down a player and then get a second one as well in that round. So good, solid retake. And from the side of Seattle, you had the control of the site, and ultimately, maybe gunfights just didn't go your way, timing didn't go your way. But from the side of Toronto, able to take that round there, and then get yourself closer to being this round 11 here on map number 2.
And it could happen. I mean, that's kind of the first. I mean, do we call that a little bit of a clutch there? Also, I kind of wanted to say this a lot earlier in the round. Shout out to Charles. He's died every round. Only player in the lobby did. We got to start making like trophies. We didn't make our map predictions. It's been a week and we already forgot our traditions, so that's a shame. We'll go ahead and just tally up the first one for us. I mean, we might as well just go up there, but unfortunately, we'll have to start that with map number 3. We're gonna remember a couple maps into the thing, and I didn't mention one single thing about that round the entire time, and Toronto won. So
it's round 11. This is a perfect time to do a prediction. Who do you think is going to win map number 2 via this round 11?
I mean, you can't wear an Ultra jersey to cast the Toronto Falters and not pick the Seattle Sloths. I mean,
so you're picking Seattle?
I'm going to pick Seattle here. They're on defense. I feel like they've been beaten, but they're going to come back stronger than ever.
I think Toronto's going to win this one. So I think we.
I think you're wrong. So
I know you think I'm wrong because you said Seattle. Clearly, that's
I just think you're. I just think you're wrong for other reasons. But we do
Yeah,
see some
okay.
shots go down here from Joker, able to put something in here. Ivan's going to be up close and personal here, laying down by this what looks to be a Mars rover camera. Able to pick up Ducky here, going to slide, able to pick up another one, able to pick up another one.
Wow. I think Wolfie might have taken a NASA space shuttle to outer space there to the moon. Well, good solid round there by Ivan. I think he managed to pick up maybe 1, 2 players, maybe possibly 3 or 4. My math's not all that good.
I
So
want to see at least a map number 4 here. I don't want to watch Hossie, but I do want to watch a map number 4. So I think Toronto are going to try to pull something out this game that we haven't seen so far in the series. So I think they take this one. We're going to say 3-1.
3-1 to Toronto. I'm going to say 3-1 to the side of Seattle. So we're going to be flip-flopped here again. I'm down. I got to make my comeback early here. So I'm picking Seattle. They're starting off early here on the B capture point. CJ is making his way into Art. Going to get taken off, but he's giving his teammates enough time to secure that first tick and get some progress on the second tick as well. They actually are going to secure that second tick onto B. And then, from this side, Toronto, you're able to clean up some of these kills as we see a car getting exploded there. So maybe you're not able to clean up those players. Ivan's going to make his way into vault, able to almost get one. CJ's going to be there for the trade. And this constant pressure over towards B has been pretty chaotic and pretty crazy towards the side of Seattle. And that's going to secure them the B point first with 2 minutes left here. And they're sitting in a really good position here on round number 1 to take this and start off hot with this map.
And they haven't touched A yet. They had a little bit of A pressure towards, kind of the middle section of capping B there. But so far, they're really just trying to play lives here. They are up by 5. I don't know that it'll come down to live. We have 1:50 left on the clock, so it's a lot. That's 3 dead. 3 players make that 4 players going to be second point. We have Ducky here, kind of last line of defense here. He's able to pick up 1. Is able to pick up anything more. He's not. He's able to put some shots down towards Dragon, but nobody there for the immediate trade. Ivan able to pick up 1, and that's going to be Seattle just flying through the smarks. Coming in here and just kind of making it his own here with his own 3-piece, hunting that 4th player towards Cat. But they're going to clear that tick. Seattle Sloths just need 1 tick. That's going to be a single wipe, and that's over.
Yeah, 1 tick, or you clean up these 9 players on lives with 1.5 minutes left. You have multiple avenues to win this round number 1 here, and it really all just starts off from that early aggression on the B point and winning those gunfights early. If you're able to get to that B point fast and get those first couple of waves of kills down, the B point absolutely flies. And they did a really great job there taking the space when it was open and being able to secure that. But Toronto kind of making their way back on this map, able to only make the life disadvantage 4 here. We see Skittles up towards 18, able to get 1 player. He's going to get taken down. He's going to be the last player that's left up close for Toronto. So Seattle is going to be able to make it out of their spawn. But Charles is up here close, able to get 1. But Ivan comes back with a 2-piece of his own. He got 2 players here on the point stacking. Duffy's trying to contest from the top catwalk area, but ultimately 3 players on that point. The tick zooms up, and round number 1 gonna go to the side of Seattle there. Great round. Ultimately, starting out that beat point was phenomenal, and it just makes your life so much easier trying to fight through this big map, especially with life advantage as well.
And the constant pressure towards B, I mean, typically we see some teams try that B hit, and a lot of times they're going to get shut down after that first or second wave. But it seems like Seattle was always able to keep somebody up with that like middle map presence, like towards that line side. And so they're just able to constantly continually put pressure on B, and that it's just not something we typically see in a control map, especially here on Vault. So it's good to see from the side of Seattle just kind of how they're able to adapt that and get that done on the B side. If Toronto says, if you got B first, I think we can too. But if CJ has anything to say about it, he's not going to let that happen. It's going to be a great 3-piece. Not going to be able to get the 4th. Charles going to be kind of last player alive. Going to be looking towards the bottom vault, able to pick up 1. So he's able to keep a little bit of map pressure for his team, kind of as they're pushing out towards this A side to try to hop on point, maybe cap a segment.
Yeah, you only got 1 player on the points. This A capture point's not going to go very quick, but Charles is looking to stay active in their spawn, trying to get some of these kills. But his teammates just were not able to completely break out a spawn altogether. We saw some trades coming down back and forth with a couple of players that were from the Seattle side pushed up. And we still have some presence here with Joker pushed up lower cat. He's looking for players. Not able to get either of those 2 big gunfight wins going down towards the side of Toronto. Dragon able to trade off one of those players. He sees a player in vault, not able to get that kill as well. And now we see the progress starting over towards B, and Charles has found his way into top art. And from the side of Seattle, this can be scary here if you're not able to find him quickly and get a kill. He's going to get those 2 players weak that are from Lion side. If one player is able to get taken out there, he's looking for more of these players off spawn. He's doing a really good job of playing his life, but we see Joker and CJ able to come in from behind those players on the B point and get them off. And ultimately, now we're looking to clean up top art, and that was a really solid retake from the side of Toronto, or from the side of Seattle, able to take a route there, get behind those players, kind of leave the guy that was art all alone. He couldn't really help his team out with the jackal up there, not able to finish off any of those kills, but really solid retake from the side of Seattle on that B point, only giving up 1 tick.
And sometimes that's going to happen when you're playing the kind of the island player, or you're blocking the spawns art, especially with a submachine when you're not really going to be able to help your teammates on point super well. And so when your teammates just lose every gunfight, it's gonna be rough for you. Kind of, you just turn around and you're just like, well, I have no teammates left. So Toronto does get that second tick on A. They are gonna need another tick there to extend that. But so far, Ivan and CJ are doing work here on the map with their submachine guns towards this middle. CJ able to pick up another one. That Ivan picked up another one. Last 2 players are deep in their spawn. They may be able to touch time here, but can they stay alive on it for very long if they make it there is the question.
Yeah, we're going to see Ducky make it here, but he's going to be alone. No players there for support. Ivan's going to be there for the kill, and that's going to be round number 2 to side of Seattle. I mean, the constant aggression in your spawn is what Vault is known for when you're the team that is on the offensive side. And if you go for dead and you've got 2 or 3 of these Seattle players that are winning a lot of gunfights and they're all aping your spawn and holding different angles, it is difficult to make it out of here. And that's what we saw from Ivan, from CJ, from just keeping that constant aggression up in the offensive team spawns, and it just ate up so much clock time. I think you're able to secure 2 ticks there if you're the side of Toronto. It was rough, and I mean, it's so hard to get out of that spawn trap blender and just force your way out of there to try to make some progress on one of these points.
It'll be interesting to see what Seattle do. I mean, they put B pressure early last round. It doesn't look like they're going to try to go B at all, and Toronto really just kind of read it pretty well. They didn't send anybody B, they sent everybody A, just kind of expecting a fight here, and they are going to come out, unfortunately, not on top here. Seattle are going to at least stack 1 player on time. I believe that's going to be another player hopping on time with them. They're looking to triple stack this here pretty soon as they start to pick up some kills. It's going to be a little bit of pinstripe there in the kill feed. Toronto going to come up on top here. Last player, Joker, going to be towards Cat. Unfortunately, not able to pick up anybody, but we just kind of see constant pressure here from the side of Seattle Sloths. And so they're going to be able to continue keep forward map presence there and able to at least keep pausing the clock here on A.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep pausing that clock, but ultimately you can good progress on one of those. Yeah, lives looking pretty even right now. We see CJ with a nice 2-piece there on the A point. That's going to allow him some breathing room here. We see Dragon making his way over towards the palm side. Joker's hanging out in his spawn as well, so his teammates are able to kind of make it out of here after that little wipe that we had there. We see a contest coming down on the A point. Gunfights are going to go to the side of the Seattle Sloths. There's maybe one potential for contest, but it's not going to come through. That's going to be the A point secured. A decent little life lead here, up 4 lives, and 145 left here on the clock to close this out here at Rio.
And they already have somebody on the point. Skittle's able to pick up 1 towards the east side, trying to hit a gunfight here towards this, the second player there. I believe that was Joker there on the outside. Dragon able to hop on time, kind of pause that clock. Joker able to push towards Vault and get that kill. It's going to be first take down. Toronto are going to have to go. They're going to have to win some gunfights here. Van's not blown up yet, so a good time nade would help out there. And right as I say that, there comes that nade. 3rd tick is halfway done. That's going to be the last kill, and that's going to be mapped for the side of Seattle Sloths. Just a quick 3-0 here on Vault and a 3-0 in the series. Congratulations to the side of Seattle Sloths, and congratulations to CK for finally picking something right that I didn't.
I mean, we're 1 for 1, so I mean, we're tied up, but let's go, baby. We're back even on the map predictions. But ultimately, really solid map there from the side of Seattle. They were able to keep the constant aggression, and, you know, CJ and Ivan just